Cimoooooooo! What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. Today I wanted to do a discussion on Cosmic Cyclone, probably the second most hyped card out of the Dark Illusion. Super simple card. Basically all the effect says is you pay 1,000 life points and target one spell or trap card on the field and banish it. So basically we have our 5,000th variant of MST, to put it quite simply. But it's really cool, mainly because it does banish a card. You're basically paying 1,000 life points in exchange for being able to banish the card you're destroying that you normally would destroy with MST, and that's pretty neat. And the reason for that is pretty simple. There's a lot of good cards in the meta currently that Cosmic Cyclone handles much better than something, say, MST would. And so that's kind of what I want to just showcase here, is all the examples where Cosmic Cyclone is better. Now, to start off with, probably the most, easy example anyone can think of off the top of their head is KOZMOTOWN. Now, KOZMOTOWN is notorious because not only if you attempt to destroy it, it's really not going to go anywhere because they're either going to search another copy or grab something else from their deck because it searches any Cosmo card. But a lot of the times, too, the Cosmo players will use their Slip Rider to pop their own KOZMOTOWN and search whatever it is that they need in that instance. So being able to use a Cosmic Cyclone to banish the KOZMOTOWN is huge, not only for the fact that they're not going to be able to search anything, but you're also stopping their constant flooding of +1s that they're getting every single turn from stuff that they've banished. So being able to stop a key card like that is really, really big, and also they can't mulligan their hand back, so no more getting luck sacked by a mulligan, which most of the time they're just drawing the same cards anyway. But moving on, that's, like I said, probably the best example that Cosmic Cyclone is better than something like MST. The Phantom Knight traps are also something that this is really good against. So Fogblade, the sword, as well as wings, because if you Cosmic Cyclone these cards, they're not going to be able to banish them to be able to special summon more Phantom Knight monsters that they can then use for just continuing their giant Xyz plays that they usually do. And again, that's something that, MST or Twin Twister can't really handle, because ideally, if you see a Fogblade, you don't want to destroy it because having that engrave is just another resource for them to use. So you try to find a way to make it so that it basically stays on the board either by overlaying or doing something that doesn't destroy the card itself and leaving it on the board. But with the example of Cosmic Cyclone, say they chain it in response to one of your effects, you just chain the Cyclone, it's banished, your effect's going to go through, and then everything's all hunky-dory and you're all set to go. You don't have to worry about that trap any further in the game. And you don't have to worry when you're going for a big OTK push that they might have that trap engraved to kind of help stop that OTK. So I think that's a really good instance there that's really applicable. And so then another really good example as well is Pendulum. Now, Pendulum is still up there as one of the best decks, as we all know. And a lot of us use cards like MST, Twin Twisters, TYPHOON, anything really to just kind of blow the scales of the Pendulum. Now, Cosmic Cyclone's really good because it does that, but it also banishes the card, meaning that it's not going to go to their extra deck for them to Pendulum summon back out later. And why that's important is because you can banish cards like Luster Pendulum, you can banish a card like Kirin, you can banish a card like Guiding Ariadne, and also not trigger it as well because it's not being destroyed, it's just being banished. So that's really, really important to highlight, because it's not only solving the problem of the pendulum scale at that time, but by banishing that resource entirely, you're not only preventing them from getting any more resources, but you're preventing them from going into some of their best plays. I mean, Luster enables all of their incredible plays, so being able to banish their one-up copy of Luster for the entirety of the game is just absolutely fucking nuts. So again, that's just all the more reason why Cosmic Cyclone is such a powerful card. And on the note of Pendulum as well, you can also hit through a card like Pendulum Call. Now, Pendulum Call is a really solid card, but it only protects from destruction. And Cosmic Cyclone doesn't destroy, it banishes. So if they think they're safe under a Pendulum Call, you just drop Cosmic Cyclone and their whole plan's basically fucked. So that's pretty cool too. Another thing I wanted to highlight, with Metal Foes now coming out in Dark Illusion as well, hitting a card like Metal Foes Counter is very relevant because the Metal Foes cards can, basically target a card like this, gain advantage, and then the Metal Foes Counter will also trigger since it was destroyed, and then they can get another card as well off of that. But again, with Cosmic Cyclone, you banish that card, so then they're not going to be able to get anything off the Metalfoes counter search, and if you use it in response to a Metalfoes targeting the counter, then again, that's just another, it's just going to make that card dead as well. So, again, Cosmic Cyclone putting in a lot of work there. That's really it for kind of like the best instances for Cosmic Cyclone. Another really weird thing, I guess you could say, is you can chain Cosmic Cyclone to the activation of specific cards. Now, it's not going to negate, I mean, it's not MST, don't worry, it's not going to negate or anything, but what's going to happen is, say for example your opponent uses Pantheism of the Monarchs, or Return of the Dragon Lords, for example. You could theoretically chain Cosmic Cyclone and target that card. Now, what happens is, while it won't negate the effect, Cosmic Cyclone as Chain Link 2 will banish that Pantheism or that Return of the Dragon Lords, and then the Pantheism or the Dragon Lords will resolve as normal. But, by banishing that card, you're preventing them from getting an additional plus that's going to just help further their game state as well. In the instance of Return of the Dragon Lords, you're going to need to have an extra means to destroy something, one of their dragons that is. So it's almost like another card in itself. So by kind of doing, it's almost like a pseudo one-for-one in a weird way by being able to do that. Sure, it might not seem like the best play, but depending on the board state, preventing them from either banishing a Pantheism or preventing them from banishing a Return of the Dragon Lords can actually be really pivotal and probably win you a game depending on the correct circumstances. Because if they don't have that to either get their combo piece or protect their dragons, they might be completely fucked and you might not even know it. So, again, just another little cool little trick you can do with Cosmic Cyclone there. So, I've been comparing this card a lot to MST, but the big elephant in the room, I guess, is Twin Twister. Now, should this card replace Twin Twister? Probably not. Mainly because, I mean, Twin Twister is just so incredible because it hits 2 cards. A lot of the time, depending on what deck you're playing, you're mitigating the cost, whether you're playing Burning Abyss or, you know, Blue Eyes, or really anything for that matter. And usually, a lot of the time, discarding the card doesn't matter, because by popping 2 back row, you're pretty much clearing all of their back row. Especially with Demise decks running around, you want to have the ability to clear multiple back row at once. So Twin Twister is probably still the better card in most cases. I really just wanted to take the time with Cosmic Cyclone to kind of highlight some instances where it's better to have the Cyclone than something like MST. Now, personally, Twin Twister, like I said, is pretty much irreplaceable. But if you're gonna play MST in your sideboard, or in your main deck for that matter, Cosmic Cyclone's probably better, mainly because it does have a lot of relevant instances that could come up, and by having the Cyclone, it could be much better than having an MST. But for the most part, you're going to want to stick to your Twin Twisters because, I mean, Twin Twister, for the time being, is still the better card. But that's just my opinion. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Cimoooooooo!